We welcome you back again to our meditation session. To remind you again, we have an important task, that is to learn to calm our mind. So we have two approaches to that, to achieve that calmness of the mind. One is to maintain mindfulness or vigilance to whatever sensory object that is coming to us, and not to follow them too much, but notice them and then drop them. And the second one is that we purposely generate wholesome thoughts again and again, so to resultant calmness will come from that. So these are the two things that we have been doing. We will be doing in next 2 days also. And eventually we will be able to come to a state that we will experience deeper calmness in our mind. So what you will develop as a result is a kind of mind that is resilient to whatever what we call distractions that we encounter. Normally, our mind is very easily swayed or easily affected by whatever things we see, hear, smell, taste, and whatever memory comes to our mind is very quickly get affected from that. And maybe like a harsh word can sway our mind so much that it can stay for many days sometimes in our mind. So one little thing, one little negative thing can do a real effect on our mind, and that can carry on in our mind for a long time. So in this kind of training, what you are doing actually, you develop a mind, you train your mind in a different way, that those things will happen. People will still do unfriendly remarks. You may still remember some negative things happened in the past, or you will see things that is not that you will not approve. Many things will happen. You will become aware of them, and maybe even you will respond to them. But the inside agitation, inside chaos will be less. That's the kind of mind that we will develop as a result of that. But it's a training. It's a training. We will not develop such a mind at once. It requires training because whatever we think right now is also a training. We have trained our mind, but not consciously. Right? The whole meditation practice in Buddhism is based on two premises, two fundamental understanding of mind. One is looking at mind not as a thing, not as an entity, but as a process, as a flow. In Buddhism, mind is not a thing, not an entity, not a solid object, not one thing. It is a flow, it's a process, it's a river. So we use the word sota. Sometimes we use the term vijnana sota. Mind is a flow. It has been flowing all the while. So this is because it is a flow. It's not one thing, it's a flow. So we can, if we want, channel that flow, direct that flow to the direction that we want it to flow. If we do not consciously direct it, it will still flow. But we have to flow, no specific direction. It just flow wherever depends on what circumstances we have, what experience we have to go through, what relationships we have. It depends on that. It can flow anywhere. That is why we see sometimes some people can do certain really harmful thing. We can't imagine how a human mind can do such a harmful thing. Recently we experienced a very unfortunate, bomb attack in Sri Lanka, right?
In New Zealand.
In New Zealand, right, and in many other places. Sometimes you wonder, can a human mind do such a thing? Because that flow of the mind of that particular individual has been, conditioned by other people, other situation, whatever, to that extreme. So if you do not take care of this flow that's already been flowing, if you do not pay attention, if you don't take care of it, it can flow to any direction. And it ended up being like such a person also, or maybe different one. Because this is not one single fixed thing. It is moving, it's changing, it's flowing. It is good because then we can change it. If our mind was a fixed thing, whatever the mind we have right now, we are stuck with it. Nothing can be done. But fortunately, it is not a fixed thing. It is a flow. It is impermanent. It is continuously flowing. The whole practice of meditation is to use that flowing nature, that changing nature of the mind, and then purposely channel, direct it to wholesome directions. That is what we are doing now. So that's one premise. To understand mind not as a fixed entity, but as a constant flow. Second premise is to understand mind as a very effective learning machine. I don't like to call it machine, but learning organism. Our mind is very good at learning. It's always learning, getting trained all the time. And in our life, we have trained our mind in so many ways. But most of the training you have got in your life are not consciously trained. How do you think now? What kind of thoughts will occur to your mind? Your tendencies, your habits, everything are actually learned habits. And we have already trained our mind, but of course not consciously all the time. Our mind has been trained by our parents, our grandparents, in a good way, sometimes bad way too, our society. And these days even media, and even social media, our friends, environment. So all the people who are connected to us, all the things that we encounter are part of this training process. So, and then our own repeated reactions to situations also develop training. If you react to certain situation in a particular way once, it creates a tendency that you will react in the same way the next moment, next time also. And if you react 2 times in the same way to the same incident, similar incident, 3rd time, you don't have to even think about it. Your mind automatically will pick it up, and then it has already now developed a habit. And most of the time, how we behave, how we live our life is actually repeating the same similar reactions again and again, again and again, again and again. And now, by this age, you have already developed what we call autopilot life. No need to think about anything. You already have all the set like already set, like a set meaning. You already have a set patterns. And when incident occurs, you will react in that way. Sometimes you don't know, but your family members know how you will react. They can predict what you will say, how you will behave, how you will react if this thing happens. The others already got it. Sometimes your colleagues, maybe your children, your family members, your friends even may know that. If you give that to her, this is how she's going to behave. If you tell this to him, it's going to behave that way. They already know, so to speak, other people are observing us. But maybe we ourselves may not know, because we are not observant enough of ourselves. So the way we react and respond and live, behave, are habits, habitual patterns. But they are kind of learned habits, but most of the time we have learned them without any conscious awareness. Unconsciously we have learned them by observing others, by simply repeating the same reaction again and again, by being influenced by others. So our mind is always learning. It's learning. So although we consciously train it or not, it's going to get trained. So meditation is the method to use that tendency of the mind to get to learn, which is always getting trained anyway. So we use that tendency, then we start to train it purposely. And we purposely train it. That is what we did, when we do loving kindness meditation. So when you make that wish, may all beings be well, be safe, be happy. When you say it again and again, sometimes you may not feel like wishing everyone well-being. But when you say it again and again, and that becomes a familiar state of your mind. So what we are doing now is like we purposely train our mind in the wholesome way. Other times, unconsciously, we think angrily of others. Sometimes we remember a person who had an argument with us. We visualize that person in the worst picture of that person, right? Very worst picture. All the face is so ugly, hair is so dark. So we imagine that face, and then we start conversation in our mind, and we kind of make bad wishes for that person, right? And so that is kind of training the mind, but unconsciously. So we have done that quite enough. So very easily, anger has become a mental state that can visit our mind very easily. You only need a very little bit of bad look from some person. That is enough. We can have all this anger rising, right? You only need this very little bits of honk behind, right? And that is enough. You can have all kind of anger, all kind of fighting, big argument, all kind of things, because that mental state has been, we have revisited that kind of state again and again. So now it has become very familiar region. Very quickly, or with little bit of trigger, we can go to that area. Actually, if we talk about in terms of the brain, the neural network related to anger or other unwholesome emotions are very strongly connected. The network is like already fixed. So you only need a very little bit of trigger, that network gets activated and fire, lights up. We can easily go there. So the more you go, the easier it becomes to come to the same mental state again and again. So there are so many unwholesome mental states and corresponding neural network that have been so strongly connected in our brain. They are already ready-made there. And always they fire. The more they fire, the more they become stronger and stronger and stronger. And it eventually becomes our life, the way we think, the way we feel. But now, when you do this meditation, consciously choosing the wholesome mental state. And we purposely, consciously say it again and again, and try to bring that wholesome wish to our mind again and again, with effort, with conscious awareness, with effort. And what we are doing, we are training our mind in the way that loving kindness become a very easily attainable state in our mind. And in the brain, actually, we are creating a network. You already have loving kindness network, but not strong enough. We need to make it stronger than anger, than other mental and other animals of network. We fire that network again and again in this meditation. If someone would check your brain and find out, you will see that that network that has been used only once a week will become to temper. Or once in a while, that not activated very much, now getting activated. Hopefully by the end of the 3 days, that network can be so strong, it can override the other unwholesome networks. So you only need a very little bit to trigger. When you see a little butterfly, that is enough for you to develop such a wholesome mental state. All beings be well by name. Right? And then because easy, that becomes a state of the mind that easy to go, easy to reach. Initially it can be so difficult, very difficult to feel loving, very difficult to wish loving kindness to others, truly. But that is what we are doing when we train our mind. That is what we call training. And then it becomes something that is very familiar to us, it becomes the second nature. And Buddha said that in like those wholesome states like loving kindness, appreciation, gratitude, sympathetic joy, compassion, all these wholesome states, we have to do what he said, bahuli katai. We have to do it more frequently, again and again. And yani katai, and eventually we have to make this wholesome state like a vehicle that we go. And vaktu katai, the place that we will stay most of the time. So it is like familiarizing with this wholesome state, visiting this wholesome state purposely, with effort in the beginning, and then eventually becomes a natural, easy state to go. So we actually kind of change the way our mind works. So bless you. So that's again, when you train your mind to say that whenever somebody sneezes, it's a good opportunity for you to practice loving kindness. I wish you may have good health, right? We can wish people good health whenever people sneeze. So it becomes a natural kind of habit and opportunity for you to practice loving kindness. So when you do that, actually, if you speak in terms of brain language, you're actually rewiring your brain. Of course, now we have enough studies, enough researches have been done with regard to change in how the brain actually changes when you do meditation. And there are enough scientific literature out there to prove that actually the brain really changes when we meditate. Whether this changes or not, if we can really change the way we feel, the way we behave, and that's really important. So that is what we are actually doing in this practice. So now I would like to use this time to be familiar with what I call the 5 hindrances. That is a very important teaching in the Buddha when it comes to meditation. The hindrances are the term used by the Buddha to recognize 5 important mental states that can hinder the peace in the mind and clarity in the mind. So they are called the 5 hindrances. It's very technical term, and I think people who have learned Dhamma are very familiar with this term, 5 hindrances. Even though we have heard about them earlier, it's again good to revisit them. What are these 5 mental states that will hinder the peace, that will hinder the clarity of our mind? 2 things. These mental states hinder or block or disturb our peace in the mind and also clarity in the mind. Ability to see, ability to know. So 5 mental states. Yes. So let us be familiar with this 5 and then also try to learn what we can deal with them. These 5 will definitely visit you in next few hours. Yeah, and then of course it comes to visit you. But what we are going to know, what we are going to do now is that we are going to know them before they come. Right? If you know them before, so when they come, you can recognize them. Right? You can recognize them and you can decide to welcome them or to acknowledge them and say, sorry, no room here. Otherwise, you will go, no, they will come and they will stay and they will, maybe rent your mind, and then sometime you will start to live for, even without paying you the rent. So it's important to know them in advance so we can detect them, we can understand. The first hindrance is called Kama Chandra, which means sensual desires. Sensual desires, or lust for sensual pleasures. Very common mental state, we always experience that in different degrees. That means that we will it's more like wanting to have some kind of pleasure, either through looking at a beautiful thing, or listening to a pleasant sound, or have a good smell, or have a good taste, or have a good tactile sensation. So, all living beings in the world are looking for these things all the time. If you look at a small creature, if you look at like a medium-sized animal like a dog, or any human beings, people living next in the city, if you look at them, and what they are all doing, they are seeking some kind of entertainment of these senses. That is very natural. We shouldn't blame them for doing that. It's very natural. But what Buddha is saying us, that when we have this constant yearning, because this is not going to be over, this constant yearning, constant wanting to gratify our senses can be a hindrance at the end. Hindrance for our spiritual progression, hindrance for our inner peace, and hindrance for our clarity. So that is the first one. So in a meditative context, you may not experience sensual pleasures in a strong form, but in a very subtle form you can experience. This mental state can come and visit you. Very simple way, like when you are feeling like this, you can say, oh, this is so boring. It is how good if I can listen to nice, beautiful music. That kind of thought. No, definitely, you can have them. Don't feel, guilty about them, and that is very normal human beings. But of course, what to do with them is what we are going to learn. So you can have that kind of very subtle kind of sensualism. Or you can feel like, this setting is so difficult, Bhante said that, keep it in natural shape, or the spine is so comfortable, but this is so difficult. How good if I can lay down here and comfortably, nice cushion. Such things, those thoughts can come, definitely. that kind of thoughts can come. Or some kind of desire for like delicious food or drink. So or sometimes those kind of yearning, those kind of like wanting can occur. Some sensual gratification to gratify one of the senses. Those things can come. So now we already kind of know that such a thing can come. So we put them into category what we call sensual desires. So that is one possible visitor to your mind. And of course, this visitor has been coming to you for all your life. But in this meditative context, now we have realized that this visitor, no matter how many has come so many times, we have welcomed that visitor so many times, we have followed that visitor's advice, we have gratified our senses 100 millions of times, but now we know at the end we are again back to not enough. We are again back to unsatisfaction. So of course, so in the meditative context, we need to be a little responsible and give more attention to this visitor. I mean, he comes with the false promises. He comes with, if you eat this one, you'll be really happy. So that's what this visitor, this sensual pleasure will tell us. Okay, so we accept that advice, and then we drive many miles, and then we somehow find that whatever thing, and then we eat. So we gratify our tongue for that while. Okay, for a while, brain is firing, dopamine is there, and then so you feel kind of excitement and then after you eat like few dishes, and now you have feeling full, and then already right at that spot you lose the interest after you finish eating, right? Sometimes you may pack some little bit to bring back home also. But then after a while you think, how many miles I travel? And then after you come back, you realize that again it's like not completely satisfied. Maybe you feel like you need to go again. Initially this visitor told you that if you eat this, you'll be happy forever. But now it looks like it promises everlasting happiness, but only give you a few minutes of happiness. Then again we need the same food again to satisfy us. And again, not only food, but any other thing. So we do it again and again to maintain this peace, but it looks like always we lose that peace, that kind of happiness. No matter how many times we have done that, it's still it stays very short period of time. So it's promising something really big, but only gives us a very little thing, but we don't see it. We don't see it. And then now, as meditators, we have realized it. We know that it's giving us false promises, and the sensual desire for sensual pleasures can come. And now we notice it. We notice it, but in the meditative context, we are not going to follow the false promises. We are not going to follow that. We are not going to blame the visitor also. We are going to acknowledge that. Notice, okay, this sensual desire occurs. The wanting to gratify some senses occur. You notice it. You notice it, you recognize it, you contemplate on it for a while. This is promising much, but doesn't give me much. So this is going after this again is suffering. So now I'm going to learn a new way to bring deeper peace to my happiness, not following the sensual pleasures, but more deeper meditative experience. So this pleasure, this wanting, this desire is a hindrance for me to experience the actual, more enduring kind of peace and happiness. So what we have to do whenever such, in the meditative context, it can be very subtle, very subtle. So we have to really watch that, very subtle. Whenever that any kind of desire, any kind of wanting, any kind of wishing something to be different from what we have right now. Wishing something to be different than what we have right now. Whenever such thought occurs, you notice it, you name it. What is the name? Sensual desire. That very naming is very important. When you name it, you recognize it. And then you into contemplation. This is very strong, this is coming, this is the urge, but not giving me peace. Not giving me peace, and you try to drop it. Or you try to understand the emptiness of that thought. It's only a thought, only an urge, is not really giving what it promises me to give. So this is empty, this is false, this is not fruitful, and it actually hinders my mind. Let me drop it and come back to my meditation, come back to my inside resting place. Okay. So sensual pleasure is one thing. Okay. The second hindrance is it's called, you can call it anger. They are father. Not simple, it's kind of anger or even like ill will. So it's almost like opposite to the first one. First one is like wanting, liking, desiring. Second one is resisting, dislike. Not dislike. Of course, anytime when you have anger, it really creates so much chaos inside our mind, and then it's really disturb our peace. You already know that. I don't have to explain what kind of destruction the anger is doing to our inner peace. Right? And then it also, sensual pleasure and also anger both hinder our ability to see through, ability to see real what it is. When you have sensual pleasures, you are very biased. You only see the beautiful side of it. You don't see the whole picture of it. When you have anger or resentment or ill will, you only see the ugly part of it. Only the negative part of it. You don't see the whole picture. So it disturbs our clarity also. So in the meditative context, you may not have strong anger, but of course in outside you can have strong anger. In meditation context, again, that anger can be very subtle. Right? It is raining now, right? Even we can have, why is it raining over here? Like some kind of resentment. Some can be very subtle. Some people cough. Oh, why these people want to cough? If they have flu, they should stay home. Whatever, that kind of whatever, even subtle thing, that can occur. But instead, actually, if you hear somebody is coughing, that's a good opportunity not to practice anger, or practice loving kindness. That person is always suffering, right? So instead of the natural thing will be, normal thing will be, our habitual pattern will be to have some kind of resentment, dislike, anger, and instead, you can be may that person be healthy, be safe, so you can have that. But it can be very subtle in the meditative context. Very subtle. Sometimes, like some kind of resentment, envy with yourself. You can have anger with yourself. Why I can't sit still? I have been trying, you can have that anger directed towards yourself also. So whether it's directed to yourself or to any other person or anything, as long as it's a resentment, anger and dislike, it's a hindrance, it's a heavy, it's a burden to the mind, it's destroy your peace, it hinders the clarity. So what you can do? First of all, we can step out of the emotion and recognize it. But what happens to our life is that whenever these emotions visit us, we become a victim to it. We become the victim to it, and then we follow it. But in this meditative context, after we learn them, clearly know about them, whenever they visit them, instead of being a victim to them, we can come out and we start to watch them. So any kind of subtle resentment, it could be due to a sound that you hear, the person sitting next, and any kind of disturbance, even air coming out is too cold, whatever. Of course, we can manage the temperature, that's a different matter. But inside our mind, we got little thing. You can have some kind of resentment, some kind of anger. Notice them, recognize them. Don't be fooled by them. Notice them, recognize them, recognize them. This is a hindrance. This is what we call anger, evil. I got it, I notice it. This is a habit. Tell yourself, this is a habit. This is a habit. It's not helping me. Let me replace it with either acceptance or loving kindness. Okay. Acceptance. If it is an unfavorable condition like heat or too cold or disturbing sounds, right? And the initial response is irritation, ill will, or anger, and then you notice it, you recognize it, you name it, and you understand that is not helping me. Let it be there. Everything is not perfect. You will never be able to find a perfect place. You will never be able to find perfect people. This is normal, this is the situation, accept all their loving kindness. Third hindrance is called lethargy. Lethargy and drowsiness. This is the most difficult one to detect. Because this is very sneaky. Very sneaky. I can really come with that, don't know it. So if you notice it first, very easy to catch. So this is like thoughts related to, it can be lethargy and drowsiness, can be both bodily and mental, both. Definitely is related to sleepiness, but also the lack of interest in the mind. Lack of interest, like you feel like, oh, why I want to do this? Like no fun, sort of, no any joy, whatever, that kind of thoughts. And you may get these kind of thoughts in your meditation. Why do you still like, this is the best time to have a good nap? Why I want to sit here and have all this pain, if I can have a nice couch, which can really bend, a few inches when I sit, so that kind of, feeling, or like lack of interest, and of course actual sleepiness. That's another hindrance, drowsiness. And so recognize it. That's also a mental state and also physical state. And if you have that kind of thoughts coming to you, like lack of interest and more like wanting to sleep rather than being alert, right? Wanting to be like, and if you have that kind of thoughts coming and quickly notice it, that is again very sneaky. We really have noticed this very first, and notice it, and then recognizing it is really important. When you recognize it, it's kind of almost like a shock, and then but one way that we have traditional instructions to get rid of lethargy, like lack of interest or lack of energy to practice. So the antidote for lethargy and drowsiness is to generate energy. And the way to generate energy is to contemplate the death. Contemplating that how many more days I have to live. That can generate so much energy, because Usually we feel lethargic, okay, oh, I don't want to meditate now, it can be done any other day, now I can just rest and go, whatever. So we can have such thoughts, but when you realize that, do we really have that luxury? How many more days I have to live? Right? So contemplating on death and many ways to die. How many ways over there to die? How many ways? You may think that, okay, I'm healthy, but healthy people also die due to different reasons. Right? So there are many ways to die, and every day is a gift. Every day is a gift, actually. And so we have already got a human life. Human life. Not only human life, we were so fortunate in this birth to meet the teachings of the Buddha. That is very rare. Many human beings stay in ignorance, stay in confusion and delusion without opening their mind to an enlightened person's teachings. And we are very fortunate to have a human life to come to know the Dhamma. We were so fortunate we were born in a period and in an environment the teachings of the Buddha is available. I mean, in human history, there are periods that there's no Buddha here in the world, and people have no idea, how this world is operating, or just believe in many things. That is what some other people do even today. So, but we were so lucky to meet the teachings of the Buddha too. So, when you contemplate on that, that gives you energy, or no time to entertain this lethargic and drowsiness. So, first thing is to recognize it, notice it. I see you. You are coming. You are coming to attack me. It's like have you seen octopus? Eight thing, right? So in the beginning, if octopus will first only give you like one leg, right? And just touch one leg. Just one little thing. If you do not pay attention to that, and then slowly it will bring the second one, right? And then drag a little bit more. If I still not paying attention, third one. And then without knowing, it has already captured you, you already fall asleep and it's snoring already. Right? So the first, you really have to feel, you take the first touch of the leg, first touch, then you'll be able to remove that. And then more chance for it to stay alert and energetic. And then contemplate the eminence of the death. That how many more days I have. That is the third one. The fourth hindrance is called restlessness and worry. Two interrelated mental states, restlessness and worry. Worry is also being meditated, but restlessness is more about possible future events or the current event, and worry is about what happened in the past. And this state of restlessness is actually the sensual desire and anger is like a two end. Sensual desire is liking and anger is like disliking. So restlessness and worry is like more agitated kind of mind, and opposite side of it will be lethargy and drowsiness. So they are all related. So restlessness can occur in our mind, definitely. And like mind from moving from one thing to other, one thing to other without having any kind of peace, or thinking again and again something happened yesterday or day before yesterday, or something, some kind of mistake that you did. And so worry is not considered a virtue, or remorse is not considered a virtue, a good thing in Buddhism. You need to acknowledge any mistakes you have done, but there's no point of worrying about it because you can't fix the past. Can we fix the past? Can we change the past? No, it's gone. It's gone. So worrying is considered an unskillful thing. Unskillful thing, because we can't fix the past. Then worrying at the current right now can even will not allow you to correct present moment and change for future also. So if we have any worrying feeling about whatever mistake done in the past, that can be one hindrance. So you have to notice it before, whenever it comes, you have to notice it. Yes, I did it, I missed it, I said that bad word, I had that quarrel, whatever. It can come to you, particularly in meditation, those things can come to you. If you remember such a thing, okay, notice it, acknowledge it, understand that it is gone. It is gone forever. Never you will experience the same thing again. Maybe similar things, but it's still good. And it's gone forever. There's no way I can fix it, but I can fix it right now. I acknowledge it. I acknowledge my own tendency. I acknowledge my own weakness. I determine not to repeat it. You have to be concerned about not to repeat it, not what you have done already. So those worries can come and recognize them and make a determination. That's okay, it's over, it's finished, but I'm not going to repeat it. Make that determination. And then you can drop the worries. And then also, of course, restlessness or that concern agitation, and of course meditative object can help you to calm you down, and sometimes you can have that fluctuating mind, and that can be a normal state of the mind. But as long as you can distance yourself from that agitated mind, you start to watch. Like when we teach meditation to children, and we take water bottles and we put sand, or sometimes what you call it, glitter to the water bottle, and we shake it and then ask them to watch what is happening there. So all things like moving around and you watch it. So in the same way, we can turn our attention to our mind. Oh, so interesting. These things are coming up, going up, and I remember that, I remember this, and my mind is moving from this to that. So you kind of create a distance and start to watch your own mind, just like you watch the glittering or maybe sands. So when you have that kind of observation, that agitation cannot continue, and it has to stop. So, but remember that is a possible visitor. Either you are restless or worrying, or when you somehow manage to calm your mind, you are going to sleep in a semi-lethargy. So that's the true extreme that we live in our life. Normal life, we live in these two extremes. All the day we are restless, worrying, restless, agitated. You come back home and finally you get to rest, you relax, and then you go all the way back to sleepiness and sleep. So either we are in that extreme or we are in the other extreme. And that is how we are living. And so these two states are so familiar to our brain, so familiar to our mind. So we don't know the middle ground. We quickly go to the restless part, agitated part, or somehow if we can manage that, we go all the way to sleepiness. That is why when sometimes when people is having like when people have like sleepiness in meditation, in a way it's kind of good sign. It shows that actually you can kind of calm your mind. But you don't know how to maintain the balance. It goes all the way to the other extreme. Because when I teach meditation in the US, in our big city of Pittsburgh, we go to all the local libraries. There are public libraries teach meditation. So each weekday evenings we go to different libraries. So many people come to meditate, and mostly when all people come, and most of them fall asleep on the chairs. But But I tell them because these people are having so much problems in falling asleep in the night, in the bed. And they buy all kind of comfortable bed. Because that, because lack of sleep is a big issue there, and so all the industries are producing different kind of mattresses, different kind of cushions, different kind of pillows. It's a big business actually. It's a big issue. So they are having a really hard time falling asleep, while lying down, having this comfortable. Right here in this one single chair, without any support, they can sleep. That is the benefit of meditation. But of course not the full benefit. Not the full benefit. So it's kind of good that shows that you can calm your mind, but then you don't know how to maintain that calmness, then you go all the way back to drowsiness and sleepiness. So you need to try to bring it back and stay in the middle. And that is the fourth hindrance. The last hindrance is called uncertainty in the mind or vacillation of the mind. Uncertainty or vacillation of the mind. That is mainly doubting. Doubting the practice that you are doing. Not lack of certainty. That can happen also. Questioning and doubting the whole thing you are doing here. Did they make a good decision? In these holidays, I could have done so many things. Why did I register for this retreat? Yes, you can ask that question. I could have done so many other things. Is there any use of doing this? I don't know whether it's really working. You can start doubting and questioning and uncertain about this whole practice. It's possible. Buddha has seen this earlier. It's possible such thoughts can occur in your mind. Not like that comes when you do not have a deeper, inner comprehensive understanding of the teachings of the Buddha. When you don't have a good foundation, good understanding how all this can happen. Even sometimes when you have understanding, yes, the Buddha has said so many things, but looks like it's not working for me. You can have that kind of thought too. So remember, you may start that kind of doubting, not certain, uncertainty, is this really working, is it really worth spending time, and what I'm doing here. When people go for 10-day retreat, silent retreats, by third day, you have enough, your mind is full of uncertainties. Yeah, and then usually in such retreats they take your personal belongings and they make sure that they don't give you, until the fourth day. Because once you pass the fourth day, you kind of settle. By third day, if you have your own personal belongings and key of your car, you might have left already. Because you develop that kind of uncertainty, when you are into the third day. Questioning, why I'm doing this. That's normal, that's the nature of our mind. So, in these 3 days, we also can have such questioning, doubting, uncertainty, vacillation of the mind. Those thoughts can occur. So now you know in advance. In advance you know. So notice them, recognize them, and the only antidote for that is to learn the teachings of the Buddha, how exactly mind works, and what is this whole technique, what is the methodology, and this is a gradual path, and things will not occur at once, I can't really change my mind just within a few hours or few days. This mind has been conditioned for so many years. It was practical to expect such a big change within an hour or two, or within a day or two. You can can have those kind of contemplations and still keep on practicing. Not focus too much on the results, but focus on the practice. And then have faith in the teachings of the Buddha. It looks like nothing is changing, but let me keep practicing. And then eventually we will experience the change and transformation. Okay? So these are the 5 hindrances. Are you familiar with that? Okay. Sensual desire, anger, two extremes, and then lethargy and restlessness and worry and uncertainty mind. So be ready. I'm sure they are going to visit you. Notice them, recognize them, label them, and drop them. Okay? And then use the techniques to deal with them. Okay? So I think we have learned about five hindrances now. Now it is it's raining. I was thinking to do some walking meditation outside in our pavilion. Can anybody go there outside and see whether we can use the pavilion there? So we are going to do some walking meditation. It's again a mindfulness practice, body awareness practice. And then we can come down and sit and then continue our seated meditation. But if it is raining outside, I would like to help you to understand our breath a little bit more closely, to understand the breath. So we will be focusing more on loving kindness, but when you calm your mind, your breath is something that you automatically feel, so we can incorporate breath also from meditation. So let us be familiar with our breath. So it's time for us to stand up for a while. Brother, did you see? Can we use? No. Okay. Use something. So we'll be familiarizing with loving kindness, but I will also would like to be familiar with your breath. When we breathe, there are so many parts of the body that are involved in that whole experience of breathing. So when you do meditation on breathing, it's important to identify all these areas that is related to the breath. So you usually consider there are 3 main parts that we can experience breath when you take long, deep breath. One is the abdomen, our belly area, and that is where we will experience breath when we take long, deep breath. And then, of course, the middle part of our chest, and also we can also experience breath upper part of our chest also, more like upper levels of the lungs. So usually when we take breath, automatically our air will go to the lower lobes of our lungs. So naturally moving our belly. But if you take more breath, consciously take more breath, it can fill the middle part of our lungs. But also, if you take a real long deep breath, you can also experience some air, some sensation in the upper part of your lungs also, somewhere here, this area. But we rarely experience breath, air in those areas because most of the time we take short breaths.
So no air to come and touch and fill the lobes of our upper lungs. But right now, maybe we can take some effort to fill all parts of our lungs, and then be familiar with the sensation of breathing. And so breathing is not something happen only in the nostrils and in many parts of our body. So the more we detect different sensations in the chest, in the back, in the belly, it is useful for us to later to pay attention to breath. So the more details you have, and more, there's more chance for your mind to stay there and not go around having wandering thoughts. Okay, so maybe in the beginning we can use our hands. I don't know whether I use this. Okay, we can place our hands to help us to pay attention in the beginning. So we place our hands in here, and then we slowly move our hands along with our process of breathing. So in the beginning, we start rising of our belly, and then slowly come to the chest area, and then we keep on breathing more and more, and then try to feel sensation right behind these bones, and that is where the upper lungs are. So and then when we breathe out, we release the breath in the upper lobes, and then release the breath here, and release the breath here also. So our hands are in for us to pay attention to. Okay, so let us start with our breath. Okay, starting deep breath. Feel the rising of the belly, keep on breathing and bring your hands to the middle part of your chest, feel the expansion of that area, keep on breathing in and feel the little sensation of the top of your lungs, and then start releasing that breath first in the chest and move your hands to the middle, release that air and keep on breathing out, bring your hands to the belly and release all the air, shrinking your whole belly, releasing all the air. And then again, take a long breath in, feel the rising of the belly. Keep breathing, moving the hand to the chest. Keep breathing and moving the hand to the chest, feel that sensation. And then start releasing upper chest, middle, and belly. Let's do a few more times. Breathing in. Belly, chest, upper lungs, and breathing out, releasing, middle, belly. Do at your own pace now. Each one of us different pace of breathing, but continue to do that, moving your hands alone. Okay, now let us try to experience this breath in three parts of the body without the help of the hand. You can rest your hand, and now you know the areas. Just have deep, long breaths and try to experience same sensation in these areas without the help of the hand. Breathe in, feeling the belly, feeling the middle chest, feeling the upper chest. Release the upper chest. Move into the chest, feeling the contraction of the chest. Move into belly, feeling the strengthening of the belly. Follow the areas just like the hand did mentally. Go to these three areas and feel them. Whenever we are experiencing the breath, we are automatically in the present moment. There is no room in the mind to have any other thoughts that can disturb our peace. The more we experience the details of the sensations of the breathing, the more we can settle our mind in this breath. So try to pay very close attention to all subtle movements, sensations we can feel. And allow your mind to absorb all these sensations. So you can settle your mind with your breath. We can calm our mind with this awareness of the breath. We can release our mind from all other heavy thoughts and emotions. We make our mind light, clear, simple with this awareness of the breath. Now you can let go of your long breath and allow the natural dukkha maintain the awareness of the breath. And try to breathe normally now and maintain the awareness in the same way. Although the breath is not that long, You maintain the awareness of the breath, changes happening in the body, exactly which muscles are moving, which areas we feel the air. Try to see the breath in many parts of your body, not in one single part, but in many parts of the body. Whenever we have other thoughts, memories, we notice them and try to see which hindrance is that thought, or if it is only a casual thought, we notice it, acknowledge it, but do not develop it any further, and simply drop it and come back to the sensation of breathing. We can have so many thoughts coming to our mind. That's okay. We are not going to choose any one of them. We are not going to develop any secondary thoughts on them. We notice them, drop them, and come back to the breath. Now, with this awareness of the
First, gently sit down for seated meditation.